So we'll be covering the report itself, what DE&I is, that is, what is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Discover the intersection between agility and diversity, equity, and inclusion. Review some of the findings and the recommendations. And at the very end, I will also go through some of the practices that I've had in my experience when discussing or even practicing as a coach. So this whole thing started with a presentation that Mark Green had on a spotlight of diversity and inclusion. Now, a little bit about Mark Green. Mark Green is the founder of Agile Inclusion Revolution. He has a site issue where he's actually had to stop working due to his site, and that is stop working with what he loved doing best, which was coding. And so the presentation covered the misalignment between inequity and exclusion. And it's coming from the heart, obviously. This is someone who's impaired visually and has experienced quite a lot. So in that presentation, Evan Labon, who is Business Agility's co-founder, proposed two hypotheses and further research on these two hypotheses. The hypotheses are, despite the positive intent of values of Agile organizations may be already marginalizing staff and customers. Organizations who embed diversity, equity, and inclusion directly into their Agile transformations outperform those organizations who don't, right? The report explored the intersection between Agile business agility and diversity, equity, and inclusion. It interviewed and surveyed over 400 individuals, and these 400 individuals were over 26 countries of residence, 42 countries of birth, 19 industries, 59 languages, 33 religions, and it goes on. They collected experiences and insights on how Agile overlapped, the state of inclusivity and equity inside Agile organizations, and collected further information. Sorry, let me just wait. Oh, can I collapse somehow? Okay, can't go any further. See if I can put it over to the top somewhere. Collected recommendations on how Agile ways of working can be improved by considering diversity, equity, and inclusion. Get to my next one. So let's level set around what is diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard or have an impression of what diversity, equity, and inclusion is, but I want to make sure that we all understand what it is and how to use it. So diversity is a mix of culture, nationalities, religion, genders, backgrounds, experiences, ages, perspectives, right? It's what makes us unique, right? Each and every one of us have different experiences, different backgrounds. And that's one thing that we have to come into understanding early on as coaches, right? Or even as leaders, right? So what is equity? Equity ensures that people have equal access to opportunities and fair treatment. So if you look at the picture here, I borrowed this from the report itself. It's really clear on what the difference between equity and equality is, right? So equality is a democratic practice, but may not necessarily address the needs of the individual, while equity addresses that need of that single individual. Inclusion. Inclusion is the act of welcoming anyone from diverse groups. It's focused on fostering the mindset that embraces respect for all, which is extremely necessary, I want to emphasize here, for team building, right? And organizations to help individuals feel safe and reach their potential. So agile and business agility have the mindset as a way of working. Let me take a step back here, sorry. It's a way of working which enables people to reach their highest potential. It helps create an environment, self-organization, right? Self-actualization and enablement, which makes organizations more adaptable. And the more adaptable the organization is, the better set they are to compete in market, right? It's a market advantage. Individuals and interactions is the intersection between agility, business agility, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. Individuals have to come first. And that is where we as coaches can actually make a whole difference, right? Unfortunately, we have organizations that forget a lot of what these values and principles are about and incorporate just the speed to market or the advantages and concentrate teams on the frameworks and the practices of getting work out quicker versus creating a culture that's necessary to produce faster, a culture that's necessary to create innovators, right? Create an environment that's conducive to innovation.